What up, y'all? Happy Monday. We have a full house at WWT Live, so you don't want to miss it. We're going to be talking all things Wrestle Dream and some backstage news coming up next.
I am your forever ROH Women's Champion, your fallen goddess, the Alpha, the Minion, Overlord, the ROH Gatekeeper, but most of all, I am the best in the world, Athena, and you are watching Women's Wrestling Talk.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
What up, yo? Happy Monday. My name is tktrinidad. Welcome to WWT Live. We got a full house on this ACW week. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, stay tuned and we will discuss it all. But I am not alone, as my dog is greeting somebody at the door. The professor is in the building.
Borna #NXT Bonafide.
What up,
Greetings.
professor?
Hi, hey, how are you, TK?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. Gearing up for our very, very full week this week.
Yes. Back to the Bahamas. We coming.
Yeah, Bahamas, we are on the way. All Caribbean wrestling coming this weekend. And so, you know, we're trying to pack and get ready and get all the other things together. So, yeah, it's a thing. But I am excited. Big week, big month, all kinds of good things happening. So, and welcome back. I'll get to see plenty of you this week, I'm sure.
That part. And hey, Dylan in the chat. And hey, Bobby, the woman with the master plan, the PR queen herself.
New Jersey, WWT resident AEW expert Courtney NJ11.
What up, Courtney?
Hello, happy Monday. I'm recovering from an eventful Wrestle Dream this past Saturday, but I'm excited. It's Monday, getting into it, and an eventful week, and also getting ready for the upcoming weeks of wrestling.
I know this is going to end. The year is going to end with a bang, and I don't think there's going to be plenty of surprises coming up. And speaking of surprises, well, it's not really a surprise. It's a terrible transition. Honey's in the building.
Of WWT Wrestling with Honey with
Honey Pop predictions. I was guess something creative, but I didn't have anything, and you know, I was like, we're gonna have Roman Reigns.
Well, I'm not. I mean, I can't deny I have been full of surprises at times, so I don't blame you for looking over your shoulder there, boss.
And I think the boss lady is stuck.
Oh, she froze.
She froze. This could be indicative of the week we're going to have. I'm just looking forward to all of this. And so I'm actually very excited about this moment right here. There's one person probably more excited than me for this.
It's Dion from At All Star Fandom.
Quite frankly, you need to go back to the drawing board because your game absolutely sucks.
Oh, I like it.
There it is. Dion is in the building. How are you, kind
The debut.
Doing great. How's everybody?
Doing well. And I hope our certain producer realizes we did get it loaded. We did get it played. Dion has seen it, and all is right with the world here in the month of October. For sure, man. It's good to have you here as always. No doubt about it. Let's see. We've got more. Let's see who's coming in now. Maybe it'll play. Maybe it won't. Okay.
Wait, there's more.
Well, wait, there's more. See, this is no, hold on. I have a better idea. This is where you just go with what you know. And if I can find what I know, then I'll be
This is like
all
the
right.
Royal Rumble.
I know, right? Yeah. We just need the countdown. 4, 3, 2, 1, and then
Don't duck, so take a pic and take a photograph. No paper, just a Philly for the ride slot. Peace, see you later. I know you love
admit that
Yeah.
is one of the dopest ones. And in fairness, it
And he's
actually
muted.
belongs to two people. It belongs to the
Oh.
mayor and to Jacob. Gentlemen, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Very
Jacob's
good.
here 2 days in a row. Just excited. It's happy.
Bounce when she walk, then bounce when she walk, bounce when she walk.
Is it good? The Lord is my shepherd. He know what I want.
Clap when she walk, clap.
For the record, I had nothing to do with that. I just want to be very, very clear. I didn't even.
That was all me, guys. That's how you announced
okay.
it here. That was all me. That was both of my
okay.
clients in one
I was
room.
just saying I didn't even know that clip existed. So go figure. And with that, TK appears. How appropriate
Mommy's
that
home.
mommy would come back home. All right. Well, I don't have the other one loaded, but I think I can introduce him pretty well. He is our other elected official. Indeed, the gang is all here. The councilman's in the building. Councilman, how are you, sir?
Have no fear. Your councilman is here. I'm doing great. I am swarming with all the energy of how the Cowboys lost to Isaiah Thomas and the Detroit Lions. So many rebounds and just dunks will just give it to these people.
Parisiac constituents.
Slam
A great weekend.
Boy.
Yeah, so many.
This is great. This is great.
so
Well,
done.
it is good to have everybody here. I mean, like, I don't recall if we've all ever been on the same show at the same time before.
Never in the history of WWT have we all been on the same show. So this is even the beginning of WWT Live. We've never, the concept of the show was for people not to be on all at the same time, just to give people chances and all this other stuff. And slowly but sure, this is some shade. So take it with you. You guys, whoever listens to this is definitely shade. So you don't have to guess.
It's a good thing I brought him with me. It's a
Right.
good thing, you know. Never know when I need him. Never know.
Live started. We had people who came and were about that life, but they weren't really about that life. And now we have people. It's true
that are about that life.
Some came, some didn't come, some came for a day, some had excuses. They weren't about that life, and that's no shade. That is shade.
I was gonna say, how do you say that's no shade?
I was gonna say I am.
We have a whole new crew, and we're
hold on.
Would you qualify that as WWT Live BC?
Well, I actually know the only person, ironically, and so shout out because I mean this is actually gonna.
Press is the only one that calls me.
Shout out to Professor, because at the point that WFT Live, I was just reaching out to a lot of different people, and Professor was one of those people, and Professor stuck through it. He's a real one. That's why we call him Teflon G, and here we are.
Well, thank you. And for the history's sake, I actually did the very first story on WWT Live on the very first episode. So yeah, I am still here, and it is good.
300 plus later.
Yes, all the way. We are here.
it.
So now it's time to get down to business, because a lot of things happened this weekend, and we have to first start with the conversation that everybody is having. And that is AEW presented their latest pay-per-view. It is called Wrestle Dream. Took place in Tacoma, Washington. And it's interesting because it kind of is the first pay-per-view on the heels of the massive media rights deal that was announced, all of these big things that happened. And there were a lot of interesting moments at Wrestle Dream. A lot of them. We saw new champions crowned. We saw, yes, TK.
Before we get into that, also shout out to Courtney. So definitely go and check out our watch along and the post show that Courtney did. So if you're like, what are we talking about, or you need, you don't necessarily want to watch the whole thing, go and check that out. That is on our YouTube page.
Yes, indeed. And so check that out. Shout out to her. So boy, with so many of us here, let's just start by talking about let's go here. I believe we had the 0 hour, which was a solid hour. We had the full pay-per-view, which was about 4. So we're talking totally 5 hours. And among all of that, since we are women's wrestling talk, there was one women's match. It was for the women's championship, and it involved Willow Nightingale and Mariah May. Your thoughts, not so much on the match, but on the fact that here we are with all of the things that we have talked about, and we still have an AEW pay-per-view with only one women's match. Now, before we dog them, I guess the real question is, does this make sense for where AEW is right now in terms of the stories that should have been on pay-per-view? Or were there other stories that should have made their way to the pay-per-view, giving us more than one women's match? Courtney, I'll start with you since, you are all things elite.
I actually did watch that match. I will give credit to both ladies, but it should have been at least another match on Wrestle Dream. And I think it's depending on storyline wise, because other than those two, the storyline that's starting to build up is Chris Statlander and Camille. And I feel like it is starting to warm up a little bit, which I understand. They don't want to rush that. They want to start off very slowly to process that. So I do believe there should have been another women's match. I'm trying to think who else, because there is a few rivalries. I mean, of course, we saw what happened during the Fatal 4-Way last week where Penelope Ford came back and beat up on Jamie Hager. And that would have been a nice leading point on why did she attack Jamie? Why did she have to come back? And possibly, and it also should have been a match. It could have been at least like a backstage segment between those two, and that could have led to a match on a future episode of Dynamite or Collision. So I do think it should have been at least one more women's match. I mean, kudos to Willow and Mariah for delivering that, because I feel like Mariah kind of took Willow too easy and didn't take her very seriously, because I saw some of the looks on her face where she kind of didn't take her as a serious competitor, but Willow did bring it. And I do believe that I really want to see those two develop a little bit of a story further.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Man, it's really a full house today.
Yes,
I promised you, if I was doing nothing in here, the door wouldn't open, nothing would happen. So I kind of want to counter one of those points that Courtney made, which was, I know she said that that AEW wanted to let this slow burn with Camille and Chris Statlander. When have they let anything slow burn? Okay. Dion, your thoughts, and shout out to Boza, because Boza, you did correct me. There was a women's match on the pre-show, Anna Jay and Harley Cameron. So my apologies. 2 women's matches amid 5 hours. I'm sorry. No. I don't want to get it wrong. It's really important to say.
Are we counting the 0 hour though? Are we really though?
I wasn't, though. There was a title match that was thrown in there that actually started, and it defended, and it was a championship change actually during the 0 hour for the World Television Championship of Ring of Honor. So Dion, I got to ask you, I mean, we have Athena as the forever ROH Women's Champion. You have Red Velvet as the Women's Television Champion. You have Mercedes Moné as the TBS Champion. How were none of those 3 champions, how did they not find room for them on this pay-per-view called Wrestle Dream? Don't we dream of women's wrestling? Am I being shady? I'm sorry. It is not my desire.
Shady Monday.
It's how the show started. It's how the show started.
Here you go, Professor. This is what you missing.
Wow.
That's what I'm missing.
That's what you missing.
Someone in the comments, I think Wrestling with Honey, I think that was it, but saying where's Mercedes, right? Like I being a person, like I'm trying my best to like watch AEW more. I am trying, because Courtney comes in here with so much energy about it, and I'm like, okay, let me give it a shot. And then I watch or keep up with something like Wrestle Dream, and there's only one match, like you said. My first thought was, where was I can't even say her name. Where was Sasha? How about that? Where's Mercedes Moné? Like, I really wanted to know, because it felt bland. It felt like something was missing, right? Like a title on there, and then we just talked about Athena too a few weeks ago about her record-breaking sort of title reign, and nothing from her either. I felt like, even again, AEW, they do storylines here and there, but most of them are just dream matches, right? Why couldn't you put something together for those women to compete in this match? I don't know. Could it have moved anything off the card and made sense with the matches that they had? Like, what match would have, like, yeah, we could have saved this for like a Dynamite or something.
Jericho.
Right.
Jericho and Briscoe.
Jericho.
That could,
as much as I love Briscoe, Jericho could have got out of there.
So there are spots where they could have added them in, and I'm not sure why. There was only one spot for that one match, and the one on 0 Hour. But yeah, I mean, missed opportunity, especially for after their deal and everything like that too. I mean, it's just, yeah, it kind of it didn't make sense.
Here's the question that I have: is I went to quite a few media scrums after these AEW pay-per-views, and I was there last year. And I feel like every media scrum that I've been to, and this conversation has been a conversation for maybe a year plus about women's matches being booked, especially for AEW, because for some reason ROH, and I haven't seen it in a couple of weeks, but the last time I saw it, they're chock full of women's matches. So it's kind of, I feel like we talk about this over and over again, and it's kind of almost begging to get these women matches to a table that it feels like that's not the priority. So it's frustrating. And, when given the opportunity, I'm still going to ask. However, are we as a collective seeing that this is not going to be the play? This is not the priority for the people that make the decisions for AEW.
I mean, does AEW's audience, just from an audience standpoint, and I can ask this question, how's women's wrestling viewed from that fan base? Because I know we love it over in NXT. WWE, when it's done right, it's great. How have the women's matches been perceived in AEW lately, I guess?
Well, I think the hard part about this is it's kind of also like asking someone, how do you like this food and you only eat it once a year? Like, how do you know that you like or dislike a particular piece of food if you only have it once a year on special occasions, et cetera, et cetera? You can't say that you have an appetite for it. I think there have been some great women's matches over the years in AEW that they have responded well to. I think about Britt Baker and the Lights Out match with her and Thunder Rosa. That was a really good one. They had there was a great street fight that happened. It was a tag street fight, involved Chris Statlander and Willow, and I think Anna Jay might have been a part of that. So they've had several matches that have been really, really solid. I'm intrigued in terms of what for them produces a match on Dynamite versus Rampage versus Collision versus the pay-per-view. For instance, there was a backstage segment that happened during the 0 Hour between Mercedes Moné and Queen Aminata that almost seemed disrespectful to Queen Aminata. And then suddenly we find out it turns into a match this coming Wednesday, which that is a dream match that honestly should be on Wrestle Dream. So it's to me, it's now becoming an issue of, when you mentioned priority, how are these things decided in AEW? Is priority put on the pay-per-view? Is priority just put on, hey, we have to fill these 2 hours on Dynamite, Collision, or Rampage, so let's just get a match to put on there, because in terms of importance, I think, and I could be wrong, the hierarchy of importance in terms of television shows would be Dynamite, Collision, Rampage with the pay-per-view topping all of them. So on one hand, I guess you go, oh, I guess it's great that they put Aminata and Mercedes on Dynamite, but it's like, you mean after she said one thing backstage, this turns into a match? So it's, to TK's point, we can't really determine the rhyme or reason. And then to think that Mercedes was in the building for Wrestle Dream, as they clearly showed her, and had no match.
Explain
Explain
that one.
I think it goes back to what you say, though, and I think the biggest word we're missing past, it's not just the women. I just don't think AEW knows what the priority is at all. So I don't even think you can aim it towards women, except pleasing their favorite toy as it is right now.
Women's and tag team wrestling. That pissed me off with tag team wrestling. That I think that, and it's funny because when they first started, tag team wrestling was their strongest pillars when they first started. Now it's like, and I'm not going to talk about the tag team match later, but it's just frustrating because it's like you have something going on with this tag team division, but it's like, it's just very frustrating because you have so many good tag teams.
Do you?
You have a few.
Well, I'm going to make a very bold statement. Or maybe it's not that bold. I don't know. I really think AEW completely changed directionally, product-wise, etc. when Cody Rhodes left.
Yep.
Nah, that's not what it
Just
happened.
another assessment,
it's when CM Punk ass came
Shut
back.
up.
You know why I can't say that, Councilman? I went back this weekend and watched All Out Chicago when CM Punk had his first match back. That pay-per-view is still one of the greatest pay-per-views AEW has ever put together. And strangely enough, it wasn't because CM Punk was on there. It was because in there we had, I mean, think about it. This pay-per-view started with Miro defending the TNT title against, man, my names are dropping with me today. Eddie Kingston. And they cooked. It was incredible. It was incredible. But then later on that card, you had the women's Casino Battle Royal, and that featured the debut of Ruby Soho, who ended up winning that. Then later that night, you also had a tag team title cage match between the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks, which was incredible. MDB, don't do it. I got fired for you today. Please, don't play with me. And then on top of that, like the last time that happened, you didn't show up for 3 months, so please don't do it. So then on top of that, you had the main event. Now, here's what's crazy. After that, you had Chris Jericho, who was supposed to be in a, last stand kind of match where if he lost to MJF, he wasn't going to wrestle anymore. Then you had the world title on the line, Kenny Omega, Christian Cage, and after that, we saw the debut of Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson. They had an amazing pay-per-view. And strangely, Cody wasn't on that card. I think that just the direction shifted so much when Cody left. And I don't think they've been able to get that back. And they've tried to act like that wasn't a big deal. But that's a big deal.
It's huge.
It's a big deal.
Well, so the question is, and we'll shoot this over to maybe Seti. So as far as what could be done, because again, dang, I don't even know if I can say this. You look at ROH, and they have stories, and they do a slow burn and all this stuff, and it's a part of the same company. What are they missing, or is AEW not for, or is AEW not for the people who want storylines? It's like, you guys want you want wrestling, forget the storylines, here it is. So like Sed, what do you think about that?
In order for somebody to win, somebody has to lose when you look at the card. And there just hasn't been enough progress with something that's been like a sore spot in the 5 years of this company. And it's really indicative of what we saw in the media scrum, is that nobody had a question for Mariah because nobody cares about the women's division. Whose fault is that? The person that's booking the women's division. If nothing changes, you're not going to draw people in. And I feel so bad for Willow because she's done so great over the past 12 plus months. It's like you put Willow in these big matches. I don't believe you're going to give her a moment. So I'm going to naturally check out because I don't believe you're going to strap her with anything. So it just sucks how predictable the women's division is while not having any depth across the whole span of a week of television. Something has to give there. And I don't know. I'm not saying hot potato winning the title is the right way to go, but you got to give more platform. Like, did we need the Jericho match with Briscoe? Did we need the hologram match? I don't really think we even needed the Bucks match on the card. If you really want to tell, space out your storylines across the card, you could have really put somebody else in there. The Amanada match is one thing. I'm not sure who else, but it just reeks of like, hey, like this is what we're going to give you, and we don't see an issue. But that media scrum should have told you what the problem is right there, because you sat that woman up there for however long she was up there, and nobody that you invited there had a question for her. And it was a very awkward moment. So if you want to keep having your women's division looking like that, keep doing the same thing, and you'll keep getting that same response. So then you just you continue to have a bloated payroll, and you're paying people to not garner any reactions.
It was the shortest media scrum in their history.
How long was the media scrum?
It was barely 30 minutes.
What?
30 minutes?
It was barely 30 minutes.
You're lying. So last year, this time,
it was 2 hours.
No way.
It was by the time, because I went to Seattle, and by the time I got out, I had enough time. Everything had shut down. It was almost midnight, and I just went straight to the airport.
When you go and look for the file is like 43 minutes long. The first 15 minutes is just a screen. It's literally
He's not lying. I literally just pulled
30 minutes.
I watched everything on
and let me throw it to you this way. It's hosted by Tony Schiavone and Nigel McGuinness. Tony Khan does not show up.
Wow.
A media scrum without Tony Khan.
Wow.
We had no Bryan Danielson. I mean, it was literally like three
it's less
or four
than 30.
guests.
Nigel and Tony don't show up
over.
till 19 minutes.
It was over. It was I couldn't, like, I thought to myself, I was like, okay, something must have happened. Like, there's no way this is really 40 minutes. I couldn't believe it.
Let me play advocate real quick. Not that we need that, but how much of that is because of the ending to the show?
So they said that Tony Khan wasn't out there because he was tending to Bryan Danielson and the ending of the show, and it was a somber mood. But here's my thing. If you're only going to have a 30-minute media scrum and hardly have anybody ask questions, then don't do the media scrum.
That probably would have been a better look for the ending, is that we have to cancel this media scrum altogether.
That would have been a much better look, because that media scrum, I was like, what is, like, literally, and you saw this for the Mariah May part, Tony Schiavone is saying, guys, don't be shy. Feel free to ask a question. When do you have to say that at a media scrum?
You should never say that. You should never have to say that.
One at a time. One at a time is the only thing you're supposed to say. Hold on.
That's all. They came to ask questions.
Wow.
And she just sat there, and he was like, "Feel free, somebody. Feel free to ask questions."
If I was Mariah May, I would have turned my character on, and I would have ate that up and turned it back on them. I'm the women's champion. Why are you not here asking me a question? Like, at least trying to make something of it. But
that's
the
biggest
How much of that is Tony's fault that we don't care about the women's champion, though?
That's crazy.
Question, though.
That's crazy. After everything they did to invest in changing, from going from being with Tony to then going solo, and how shocking that moment was. It's like, now what?
Yeah, it was a great story. It was killing.
And that's
Eve.
like one
Here's
of my
the
biggest
question,
problems
though.
with AEW is that they can't build without utilizing some type of shock value. Like I can only do so much shock value in a program. It seems like that's their calling card. Every time they book a program or a storyline, we have to have shock value. The way that I think I can see the beauty in the Bryan Danielson match ending and how that's poetic for him. But even with like the Adam Cole stuff, and then now we had the Chris Statlander Willow stuff, and now Chris Statlander's a face out of nowhere, and we just get a segment explaining why. Why did we go through all of that betrayal stuff like that just to end up in the same spot?
So stupid.
Eventually, you have to start telling stories without the big surprise or the big debut or, hey, I have another announcement. Eventually, you have to be able to have a program that just flows without that stuff.
Less announcements and more movements. It makes for a greater, reaction when it's time.
But you don't have that. You don't have no one developing characters. You don't have no one developing a story. Like Toni Storm came up with her character. Swerve came up with his character. And you're betting on others that have already established their characters already, like a Kenny Omega, like a MJF. So you're relying on that. You still have Mariah May, who's a great personality, but still needs work on her character. Where does this move? How does she act? How does she respond? You're not doing that with any of these people. You're betting off of their move set and their skill set like they're professional athletes. And so, of course, the people in this scrum are finna ask, hey, how did you perfect your DDT? How did you perfect your suplex? They're not finna ask you that. They want to know what's the next thing with the storyline. How do you progress here? What do you plan to do as a women's champion? And you haven't given them anything. You haven't given any of these people this. So this is why all of these folks, not just the women, but your tag team division, all of them fall to the wayside because you don't know how to develop characters and the new talent. And that's why I said it the last time. You know what this smells like? WCW. That's the one thing Vince always had. Vince focused on developing characters.
No.
Tell in WCW.
No, it's not even telling WCW. Here's what AEW is, and I think a lot of people miss this point because they're not familiar with it. AEW is New Japan for an American audience. The top of AEW and a lot of the stars and the names came from New Japan, where weekly TV wasn't really a thing. All you had to do, hit a little house show loop, get everything set for the big show, blow off, surprise. That's how they book it. They book it like New Japan and Stardom. So it's lost in translation to an extent to the average person that's not an AEW diehard that has been conditioned to WWE, NXT, TNA, WCW. So you're looking for where's the story? Where's the characters? You're looking for those things, and they're there in AEW, but they don't carry the bottom. It's very top heavy. There's no bottom, and the women's division had a great story. You literally took Killing Eve and you played it out perfect. And you had a story with Mariah and Willow. Willow can't get past Mariah. Mariah has the one up on Willow. Is this the one where Willow finally cashes it in? The problem is they can't follow through with anything. I think it's the biggest issue. They give you the story, but there's no follow through because I'm willing to bet Willow falls right back down and then we don't see her. She's AEW's Mick Foley. And I hope that she gets the Mick Foley moment, gets the win, gets the run at top. But right now, that's how she's booked. And as far as the press conference and the scrum with Mariah May, how much is that is also on who you're letting into these scrums? It's 60-40, 70-30 of you not putting emphasis on the women's division, but also put in people that watch women's wrestling. Put in people that know Mariah May. You sat there and you said Mariah May doesn't have a character. Mariah May's character is well fleshed out from her days in Stardom. Make that translation. Tell that story better than other than the 5-minute, 3-minute package on Collision or on social. You have to bring all your social to TV. Again, they're operating like this is Ring of Honor when the Bucks were running wild. Like this is New Japan where we use social media. Weekly TV is not a thing. Now you're seeing where this is kind of biting you in the ass because it's like, we don't know how to make the adjustment. And like Professor said, things changed when Cody left. and they were changing before Cody left because Cody was like, "Hey, I came from the machine." Jericho was like, "I came from the machine. We have to do certain things." And there was more cohesiveness. There's better storytelling. Certain things still got screwed up. Like you broke up LAX because you didn't want to use them. Like that was one of the root issues of LAX's breakup. Is one was like, "Oh, I just sit at home and get paid. I'm good." Other was like, "Nah, dog, I want to work. I came here to work. If we wanted to do this, we could stay in TNA or hit the Indies." So you got to realize you're not New Japan as much as you want to be America's New Japan. You have weekly TV now, and Tony's aware of it because the reason we got that hologram match was for Mexico, was for the international luchador match market. Because they apparently signed a deal with Fox Sports. So cool, we get it. But how easy or how difficult is it to turn that interaction between Sasha and Queen into a tag match with Statlander pulling up and going, "We got a problem here"? And then Camille being the muscle going, "Yeah, what you want to do about it?" Bam. Give it a 5-minute and let it be a dusty finish.
Yeah, there's definitely some work. One more thing with this before we move off of Wrestle Dream. I want to get your thoughts, and Honey, I'm going to start with you on the retirement of Bryan Danielson.
Congratulations to Bryan Danielson on a wonderful, amazing career. I didn't really expect that to happen. Yeah, I don't know. Was he planning that to be his retirement match at all? Was that even like a thing leading into this matchup with him and Moxley?
Well, what he said after defeating Swerve was, once he loses the AEW world title, the next time he loses, he's done. And so all of his matches kind of had that tinge to it. But yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see all of it, but I did see clips online of things that transpired and everything. But overall, if that's the way Bryan Danielson wanted to go out, then at least he got to go out the way he wanted on his own terms. And he's done it in a couple of different ways. Oddly enough, his last match on Raw was Seth Rollins. His last match on SmackDown was with Roman Reigns, and his last match in AEW and in his career is with Jon Moxley, also formerly known as Dean Ambrose, which I believe is crazy, which I think is just an awesome stat, considering it shows how much respect he did have for them as well as the business. And yeah, man, good luck to him, and he could finally put his feet up. Good for him.
Said your thoughts on the retirement of Bryan Danielson.
Very abrupt ending, and I think as fans, everybody wants to see you go out in like a blaze of glory, but maybe that's not what he wanted. It's one of those situations where if that's his final match as a full-time competitor, I thought it was actually kind of cool when you look at like the artistry of it. Like, think of a movie. You killed a character off. It's essentially what happened. And for Mox, it just shows that he's probably, I remember we had the 4 pillars things. Like, Mox, by and large, is the most important figure as a performer in AEW. He's always there, always reliable. Now he's a 4-time champion. He's stamped. So when we have that conversation about the Shield, we have some more stellar points as to why he's number 1, meaning that we're talking about in this industry of professional wrestling worldwide, he has his fingerprints everywhere. So I think that's the respect that a guy like Bryan Danielson has for Mox, and knowing that, like, hey, I want to fall to this guy. Just makes sense. But like the artistry of it, when I go back and look at it, I think it was kind of beautiful that they did it, because he's kind of elevated everybody in that group on his way out. Did they need it? Maybe not, but maybe we'll see how they play it off from there.
Dion, was Jon Moxley the right person to retire Bryan Danielson?
I mean, for the stat that Honey gave, and I don't know if this was on purpose or not, I think just because of that. Like, every one of my last matches were against 3 of the guys who were running. That's funny to say, every last one of my 3 matches. But like, now they're like carrying, again, I guess, the shield for wrestling, right? So those are those next guys up. But yeah, I think it is. I have my problems with Moxley and whatnot, but other than that, Yeah, I mean, for that stat alone, I think that was fine.
There's beef in these streets. What happened with Mox?
Just he's not that great of a shield member. That's all. He's not top on my list.
I wasn't here on Friday, but we're not doing that disrespect.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring it up because I didn't want to take away from anything else.
Hey, well, let's
our next debate was way out of pocket.
I'm in and out. I'm done.
Our next debate will be on the Shield. That stands to make
that's gonna be amazing.
An awful lot of sense. Really, really cool. Okay, so a couple of other things. There was mention of New Japan. Today was actually a huge event for New Japan, and in the event that happened today, there were a number of title changes. One of them saw new IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champions. Congratulations to the Time Splitters or the Jet Setters. That is kind of cool to see that. Oh, well, that was weird. Kevin Knight, now one half of the tag team champions, and that makes me very happy. Two other big pieces of news coming out of here. For one, Zack Sabre Jr. is the new IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, defeating Tetsuya Naito. And that's a big deal because he was the winner of the G1 Climax. And normally the winner of the G1 Climax automatically gets their shot at Wrestle Kingdom. In the States, it's equivalent to winning the Royal Rumble, and you get your WrestleMania shot. And in essence, at the end of the G1 Climax, Zack Sabre Jr. says, I'm not waiting until then. I want this match in October. And now he wins the championship. The last very interesting piece of news is Hiroshi Tanahashi, the ace of New Japan Pro Wrestling, who you guys have seen, of course, in AEW and other places. 25-year celebration has announced his impending retirement. His retirement will happen Wrestle Kingdom 20, January of 2026. And ironically, he and John Cena are retiring a week apart. So I want to start with you, Councilman, and get your thoughts first with Hiroshi Tanahashi and John Cena retiring in the same week.
I mean, hey, you might as well ride that wave. So it makes all the sense in the world. It's incredible that it's, like you said, a week apart. I just think it just bodes to just how well both of these two were in both of those companies. John Cena to WWE and then him to New Japan. So I think it's dope. And I just think that makes it better for us with wrestling. Like, we get to see two great people have dope matches, and hopefully he do the same thing like John, like give us everything that we want to see before he ends.
Courtney, your thoughts on this? John Cena and Tanahashi retiring within a week of each other.
They both can ride off to the sunset, ironically, but they both had illustrious careers, and also not just with John, but also Tanahashi as well. If you have not seen his matches on New Japan, I know they're floating around over on socials, but I would not be shocked to see him at a Forbidden Door next year, and maybe possibly incorporating that during his retirement tour. But they both had an illustrious career, and wish them the best, and they can ride off on a high note.
Jacob, let me ask you this. Who would you like to see Tanahashi battle in his last year?
That's a good question. I was sitting there, I was thinking about it. I was like, all right, we didn't announce an opponent, which I think is good. Like, I like that we know we have a date, we have a time, place, but we don't have an opponent, which means we got 2.5 months-ish to figure this out. I kind of hope that it's Finley. I really hope David Finley sends them to the great beyond. Like, Bullet Club War Dogs, even though Drola and Mooney lost the junior IWGP tag titles today, they've been on a run in New Japan all this year. They sent Ospreay out, which I still say that cage match from January is arguably one of the 5 best matches I've seen this year. Bullet Club War Dogs versus United Empire. So I think it's Finley. Like you've been teetering with Finley being that guy. He's had his moments. just put the stamp on him. Send the ace out on his shield. Make him your true new big bad gaijin, and let's just move New Japan into a new era. So why not? Or either, if it's not Finley, let Gabe Kidd do it.
Now remember, we have it that's in 2026, so we got a whole nother year before that happens. So perhaps they're the guys that could certainly work.
I'm with Joe in the comments here. I think Nakamura would be awesome to see go against Tanahashi. I kind of like that.
Yeah, I think that could work. That actually would be fun, I think. Any other thoughts for potential final opponents for Hiroshi Tanahashi?
Okada, you run that one back one last time?
Okada makes sense.
Yeah.
Okada definitely makes sense. So we'll see.
I'm sorry, what?
Cindy! There's like this ray of sunshine next to this.
I don't know if I should be
okay. For those who are listening,
was that a compliment?
Cindy has said this to Ced. She says, "quote Why does Cedric's living room always look like the lobby to heaven?" Yeah, you broke me on that one. You got me.
Oh my god.
Oh
my god.
All right. I don't know.
All right. So let's go to another interesting piece of news, and I want to get your thoughts on this, guys. So if you've watched wrestling for any time over the years, you know there's a unique connection between hip hop and pro wrestling. We've seen it manifest in a lot of ways, whether it's the current theme song for SmackDown or Bad Blood or NXT, or it's been the involvement of hip hop artists in pro wrestling, or even promotions that have merged the two. One of the wrestlers who you will regularly see at a wrestling event is Westside Gunn. Westside Gunn is announced to be starting a brand new promotion called Fourth Rope, and they will have their first event in November, November the 2nd in Chicago. It's called Heels Have Eyes 3, and I'm told that it'll be at the UIC Forum, and it's already sold out, which is kind of impressive. So the artists who will be appearing include
I have
Pete Rock.
tickets.
You have what?
I have tickets.
Oh, okay.
Just the way she threw it out.
Okay. Are these tickets to be given away, or tickets because you're special and you're going?
No context.
I'll be going.
That was a flex.
Where's it?
I have tickets.
Right. I just knew that was a setup for a giveaway or something. But
right.
Okay.
I thought that's what it was.
I thought it was a lob.
No.
Yeah, it was a flex. Okay. Well, when TK goes, she'll see Pete Rock in DJ Premier. Also, Jordan Grace will be there. Moose, AJ Francis, Joe Hendry. I guess I want to get your thoughts, and I guess TK, since you're going, what are your thoughts on Westside Gunn starting his own promotion, and what do you think this means?
So my dog is barking at whoever else's dog is. She really feels like the dog is on the other side of the computer. So for those who are listening, I actually like this because remember at one point Hog was owned by, and I don't know if it still is, by Master P. And I feel like the more promotions, the better. One, it's the better for the wrestlers because now they have jobs, they're getting seen different places. Not necessarily great for wrestling fans because WrestleMania weekend is gonna be crazy. There's no way. Like I can't even believe that was Philly was this year because it feels like years ago. It was just there was too many shows for one person to go to. So I think this is going to be, and Westside Gunn, like you were saying, Professor, has been a staple in the wrestling community for years. So I think this show is going to be different. And also, I don't understand why they haven't reached out to you to commentate or to do something. Like y'all need to hit up Professor. You need to put him in the work.
Well, I appreciate that. They may not be aware, and that's okay. I mean, not everybody knows me, so that's all right.
No, that's not okay. That's not okay.
Bonafide.
Everybody in the chat.
NXT Bonafide.
Yeah, everybody in the chat, start spamming Westside Guns. Not spamming, but just tell him about Professor. Y'all need to do that. Do that. If you are a fan of Teflon G, that's what y'all need to do.
NXT Bonafide Worldwide.
That is very kind of you, TK. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. November 2nd. That's actually very soon. That's in a couple of weeks. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Seth, let me ask you your thoughts on Westside Gun and this new promotion.
Well, Westside Gun's very big into wrestling culture, and now that's actually really cool that he's doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So giving a platform for a lot of wrestlers, probably a lot of people that are on the independent circuit, and then getting some people to appear that we know from television. I think it'll be successful, and I hope it's just the first of many, because it gives more opportunity to the wrestling industry, and also it'll blend in more the cultural side of wrestling that we don't often get to see from the bigger companies.
Yeah, I would agree. Dion, would you go to something like this from Westside Gun?
It's funny that you asked that, because I was like, I would do this. That's what I wrote on my notes. So because when you think about it, like, I would put this together. Like, I think it was Battle Slam here in Atlanta.
Yes.
A few years ago, I went to. I think it was right before SummerSlam one year, and that was fun. They used all the Def Jam, Fight for New York sort of graphics and stuff. It was pretty dope. So yeah, this would be like right up my alley for it. Again, like said to blending the culture within it that we don't usually see on TV would be a plus. But I literally wrote like, I would do this.
Wow.
No bad.
Wow. No, I think that is cool. And I think, again, the wrestling industry and culture is in such a way where we can have multiple expressions of this nature, and it'll be a really, really good thing. So best of luck to Westside Gun. Have not heard if this event will be streamed or televised anywhere, but it'll be pretty cool to see what happens there. Shout out to Westside Gun and this whole concept for Fourth Rope. So shout out to him. Let's see. So a little bit of backstage news, which I know we wanted to talk about. Rhea Ripley, who just celebrated her 28th birthday, I believe. Yes. Apparently she is set to sign a brand new contract with WWE. And apparently it is a long-term deal, and it is believed to be for 5 years. And it is said that she would receive a, quote, considerable financial raise. Here's the question. Given our conversation, oh God, this is going to create problems. Given our conversation earlier in the show about someone who is the highest paid women's wrestler in a given company, has Rhea Ripley earned the right to be the highest paid woman in wrestling right now?
We know Rhea ain't got them type of zeros as Monet.
Oh,
Councilman. No. Let me not start with Councilman. I just realized that. I'll start with an innocent bystander. Courtney. Let me start with an innocent bystander. Courtney. Does Rhea Ripley deserve to be, based on what she's done, and we could probably run through her resume, should Rhea Ripley be the highest paid woman in pro wrestling right now?
Mommy got paid. And I'm going to say this because she did a lot throughout the last couple of years. Look, I know everybody wants to do on mouthy down Monet, but with Rhea, yes, I said it.
And remember, you said you didn't want me to go first.
Wait, you completely blew this whole thing up. Wow.
Innocent bystander.
I think that's what I said. Wow.
Okay. And I will say this, Rhea does, because she put in the work. And if you've seen or followed her career from NXT up until now, she's really done a lot. I mean, her WrestleMania match with Charlotte, the way she came in on Raw, and also the way right now she's working with Liv Morgan. And even the fans go crazy over her. And especially in her match when in Australia, when she faced off against Nia Jax in her hometown and she retained the title, she actually do it. And also her match with Becky Lynch at WrestleMania, Rhea deserves to get paid. I mean, she put the work in. She improved a lot, especially in the early part of the Judgment Day. So kudos to her for getting paid.
Well, we don't know that she's gotten paid yet. We're
Not yet.
trying to figure out what she's going to get paid. And I guess that's leading us to this question. All right, Councilman, you're much safer, obviously. Sir, does Rhea Ripley deserve to be the highest paid woman in pro wrestling right now?
I mean, it's easy to say yes.
I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Okay. State your case.
Has she had a hot 3 years? Yeah. But, and I can't believe I was going to say this, compared to what Mercedes Moné has done.
What is happening right
what
now?
What the hell is going on here?
What have you done?
What have you done for me lately, though? What have you done for me lately, though, Will? Like, that's where I'm at.
Who are you, and what have you done with my tag team partner? Who the hell are you? Is this Will Goldberg?
It's what he acts. First of all, that's a compliment to me. I will always accept that. It's what you asked me, though. Is she deserved to be the highest paid? And I don't know.
To be in the second.
What have you done for me lately, man?
No. We're not doing this. No. We're not going to sit here and act like mommy hasn't been the hottest commodity here at WWE for the last couple years.
All right. So if that's the case, then
merchandise. Listen, at Fanatics Fest, I was at Fanatics Fest. Okay, at Fanatics Fest, that place was roaming with girls dressed just like Rhea Ripley. None of them was dressed like Monet.
So,
no,
but again, to be
fair,
that
also be a part of a storyline that pretty much goes neck and neck with being the hottest storyline besides the Bloodline. Get out of here!
But again, what you just said Fanatics Fest 1 year. How many years did you see girls do this, wear these shades, and do that little gesture thing?
But what have you done for me lately, Will?
All right, if we being for real, there's only one person that deserves to be the highest paid woman, and it's this woman. This woman right here deserves to be the highest paid woman. Marcella Perez deserves to be the highest paid woman because she been holding me lately. Let's talk about that then. She has been holding it down lately.
Come on.
Dog.
Top of the cover on the PWI. Took out everybody. Yeah.
No way. When everybody's screaming mommy and the Latino heat and dirty Dom and then
But look what he just but again, what he just asked. Should she be the highest paid woman in the industry? That means saying you are the hottest act in the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think mommy is the hottest act.
She actually wrestles and is a defending champ. She doesn't get them handed down to her.
So wait.
Sorry, right now.
Councilman,
who Rhea Ripley is.
Councilman, let me ask you this: since you are saying that Rhea Ripley is not the hottest woman's act in the business, who is, in your opinion?
I have no idea. I can't answer that question.
Oh,
you know what?
So how can you? Okay, all right.
I'm about to. I'm ready to
get him again.
Where's that Jada Parker clip?
Yeah.
Oh, that's gone. Yeah, that's gone. Since we get to delete shit, I for damn sure deleted that. That's out of here, buddy.
You deleted that? Oh,
yeah,
all right, well, fine. I got a different one then. Fine.
You're lying.
Look, again,
I'm lying.
Have you said should she be the highest paid woman in WWE? Absolutely.
So I got a question.
You said everybody. You said everybody. And I said,
when you say industry, Professor, are we talking the wrestling industry straight up? Or are we talking wrestling / sports entertainment? Like, are we separating like wrestling, like straight up like the wrestling industry? Are we considering like the sports entertainment, what she's worth outside of the ring?
Oh wow!
Because the argument is Sasha deserves it because Sasha brings you more outside of the ring.
You're talking
She's
Sasha,
worth
not Mercedes,
more.
right? That's what you mean.
Sasha, Mercedes,
past,
this,
man.
that, crick, frack, tic tac. Hell, it's the same person. We all know who we're talking about.
Lord have mercy.
This is just love.
When did Della get his 60 minutes credentials? Wow.
Again, it's how you ask the question, Professor.
So here's the thing about contracts. Rhea is only 28 years old. So you pay based on projections, what you project them to become and be over the next 5 years. So it's not saying that she is the highest paid when this contract comes. We don't know the details yet. We do know Mercedes is, but what Professor's asking is, does she deserve? Number one in PWI, a lot of different crossovers. She has her own skin, I believe, on Fortnite, whatever the kids are playing. There's a lot of crossover appeal there. So if you pay her the highest you pay her the highest amount, you're projecting that, hey, we're going to reach more tiers here. When we'll see. I don't know if she'll be the highest paid. Can it be earned based off right now? If you're calculating all the fandom she's had over the past year, certainly, sure. But she's also been hurt a couple times. That's why I don't really think it'll be highest paid. But from 28 years old going to be what? At the end of the term, we'll be what? 33, 34?
33?
Yeah. I don't think that's a bad investment if we're talking about it, if we're being honest. But to the councilman's point, everything that Sasha Mercedes built up to that point, just to keep her away from WWE, that was earned. You're talking about main event. You're talking about moments that she created in the industry, which has earned her that contract. Somebody said, hey, I think you are worth this much. I'm going to give you this based off what I saw. With Rhea, this is a projection, not based off what she's done up to this point.
I'm going to fight all these urges, my brother.
Yo, Honey's face is priceless.
Yeah, his face.
One is future, one is what you've done for me. It's perfect sports sense. Yeah. Sasha's the vet that is coming up on that last deal, getting paid for. This is what you've done for me. You can give me a boost on your way out. Rhea is you're the blue chipper, you're the prospect. I'm paying you on what I expect out of you. So yeah, you're going to probably pay less than you would pay the proven commodity. Because
like if Becky commanded the highest contract in women's wrestling right now, I wouldn't snarl at it. I'd be like, look at all the crossover appeal we've had for like the last 5,
there's more
years.
crossover in the other two than there is Rhea Ripley.
Proven commodity?
Dion.
Yo,
walk it. Grocery store test.
People keep talking about these ratings with AEW, and we just had a whole 30-minute block where we said this is Tony's fault that the women's division has not progressed.
I'm so confused.
I don't know.
I don't even know.
But then that's the question too. So would you say Bianca isn't up there with her? And across the board?
Nobody's mentioned that. I asked a simple question. When I asked you who was the hottest act, you said I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I should say Bianca.
That was a good compliment to Bianca.
Hello.
But is she?
So
but
Dion,
I'm asking.
Let me ask you,
you didn't
sir.
ask me a lot of questions. Ask me who the hottest act was.
Let me ask you, sir.
Anybody ask you nothing, Otis?
Does Rhea Ripley deserve to be the highest paid female in pro wrestling?
I mean, all the reasons that Honey gave too, I think so. I mean, biggest pops of the night, most storylines, popularity, PLEs, 2K. I mean, she's merch, 2K covers. What else she has? If we're doing the counterpart to the guys, she is right up there with them on closing the night. Like she'll close the night when I can't even get my words right at the moment because I'm like Mercedes.
He's flustered.
I can't get it out.
Yeah,
it's just she hasn't done anything. Okay. Anyway, all I'm saying, I'm gonna pay her off what Rhea's been doing. She's been the hottest act so far. But then, like said, it's a projection, right? She's going to be the highest paid, probably next to Bianca, probably next to Charlotte, and she deserves that. Like she's got one of the hottest acts next to the bloodline right now. So how can you not pay that and see that potential in that and say, yeah, we're gonna keep her and give her whatever she wants. Man, come on, Will. You didn't even answer the question, man.
So here's a question.
You never answered.
Here's a question.
I don't know. That was
You're like, I don't know.
I don't know.
What can Rhea
Talking
do next?
all that mess.
What's the next act? We've known what Sasha Mercedes has always been able to prove and do something else next. What's the next big thing for Rhea? Can Rhea get another hit? Can Rhea give us another 40-point playoff run?
Has Mercedes given you another 40-point playoff run?
Y'all keep doing this Mercedes versus Rhea thing, and I'm gonna let y'all know right now. Not one of y'all think that Rhea is a better wrestler than Mercedes.
And then look, and if y'all saying this to your point, Dion, to your point, you said Rhea Ripley's on the cover of 2K, so was Bianca. So it's like,
that's why I said she's up there with like those are probably her 3-4 most paid, right? Like Bianca, Charlotte, Becky, and Rhea, right? Like that would be your big 4 at the moment. I mean, Bayley would be close too.
Technically, I would take out Charlotte and put in Jade. Just saying.
Oh, with that contract that she probably got.
Because of the contract, the TKO version. But I'm just saying, like, as far as that, but I'm talking about most recent, because but whatever. But yeah.
That's all.
Wow. I don't even.
Maybe we should take a break.
Rhea's got a lot of 40-point games ahead of her, man.
Here's the thing. I hope.
I bet on it.
Do I think Rhea's gonna be the top paid female wrestler? I don't think so. Does bankability? Yes, just for the things that Honey has said.
So
and
no one jumped on TK when she said it. Okay. She just said no, and nobody batted an eye. I don't know. Hey, y'all threw the hammer at me.
I'm just gonna put my shades back on because I'm done with all of y'all right now.
Everybody threw everything at me, and she said it. They was just like.
Well, I think Will, because when you were asked,
froze again.
You weren't able to give an answer. And my thing is, Rhea is definitely deserving. She's carried a lot of storylines. And if you compare Bianca and Rhea, Bianca's done a lot, yes, and there's some crossover ability. But if we're just talking, and I think now I'm kind of understanding what you're saying, Jacob, when it's talking about just sports entertainment and wrestling, Bianca has more crossover ability. Rhea within wrestling content, she's been doing more at this juncture. But I think all the women like Bianca, everybody who's having a contract coming up, such as the likes of Rhea and Bianca, their checks are gonna be great, because another thing that you have to take into account is return on investment. I invest in you. How many shirts and how much merch and how many people are coming to see you? How many people are dressing up as you? We're seeing that with, in particular, Rhea and Bianca. As far as Mercedes, she's getting the check. Courtney can speak more to as far as AEW. We just saw her on Breakfast Club, so something's happening there. I kind of have a feeling why that happened, but I'm not seeing what I'm seeing as far as Rhea and Bianca and the commercials and all that other stuff. I'm seeing more of that happening than Mercedes. What will be telling is when Mercedes' contract is over, will she either be re-signed? Will she go over to WWE? Will she be in movies, or will she do nothing at all?
She's a hitman for hire. I think she's made that clear.
And they haven't even pulled that Rhea versus Bianca yet either.
Then return on investment. So she's hitman for hires. She was great because where she was at the time she left WWE and all this stuff, right? And Sasha into Mercedes Moné. When this contract is done, return on investment. Companies are going to look at her as like, did she make Tony as much money as he invested in her? And if she didn't, then companies are going to be like, we're not going to give you as much. So there's a lot of factors that are going to be coming into play. But trust and believe is always about the money, regardless. Dang, on that note, I think we're wrapped. Is everybody so quiet?
No, I mean, it is ultimately about the money.
Preview for tonight. No,
at the end of the day, it's all about the money. That's what it is.
It is, and I also think we have to consider that if we're having the discussion about Mercedes versus Rhea, they're also at two very different points in their career. I think it's safe to say that Mercedes probably has more years behind her than ahead of her in terms of in-ring, and that's clearly based on, you know, her own projections. It is likely that we'll probably get more years out of Rhea at this particular point than we will Mercedes. So all of those things will factor in. And, you know, you could make the argument this could be Mercedes' last pro wrestling contract. You know, and again, I just sit back and consider the fact that she was not on Grand Slam, even though she was in New York. She was not on Wrestle Dream, even though she was in Tacoma in the building. So it does make you wonder what kind of contract situation you're looking at if indeed she's in the building or in the city, but not wrestling on events that she's promoting. You know, is there something in her contract about doing a certain number of dates that, you know, she just says, either I am or I'm not? We don't know. And I think the big question becomes, what do each of these women mean to their respective companies? And I think at this point, while Mercedes and her, I say this carefully, Mercedes and her past accolades are making her valuable in AEW. It is Rhea's current accolades that make her valuable in WWE. And so that'll ultimately determine, you know, what she's able to land. So we'll see what happens with all of that. So there was mention of the Monday Night Raw preview. And again, we're getting adjusted to a 2-hour Monday Night Raw, and which is still wild to say. But tonight, speaking of Rhea Ripley, she is scheduled to kick off Monday Night Raw.
Look at that. She's on the show. She's there.
She's
there.
Meanwhile, there was a whole pay-per-view where, well, never mind.
I'll say this though. Bianca's across all 3 platforms. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you should have mentioned her name though.
Listen, y'all threw everything in. And see, you left, Professor.
You said what you said. No, Councilman, you said what you said.
I asked you if it wasn't Rhea, who should it be? And your answer. So that's pretty comical. But tonight, Rhea Ripley will kick off Monday Night Raw. Speaking of Bianca Belair, her and Jade Cargill will take on Damage Control. Kofi Kingston and Braun Breaker will get it in. And Cody Rhodes returns to Raw tonight to confront the World Heavyweight Champion Gunther. Plus, R-Truth will take on The Miz in a battle of awesome truth. That's what Monday Night Raw will be tonight. So we'll be looking forward to checking that out. Again, a 2-hour episode of Raw happening tonight. Yeah, I don't know what other fuel I'm throwing on the fire, but so be it. All right. Well, this has been an eventful show. That is for sure. A couple of quick reminders. Again, All Caribbean Wrestling this weekend, Fight for Paradise. It's going to be very, very special. You do not want to miss that. That should be great. And we'll be keeping you posted on where you'll be able to check that out and all of the fun things that are happening. I'm expecting some really cool things to happen there. Okay, let's run the gamut and see who is where. Jacob, how can the people find you?
As always, you can find me on Twitter at _JDella. Find my writings, amusing thoughts, and opinions over at Anscape. And, you know, I fix your face, TK. Fix your face. You get the same ESPN check. Don't even fix your face. And you can also find me occasionally coming through here, although it is almost basketball season. So that means I'm going back on vacation. Mr. Welton, you're up. Carry the load for me.
Wow, that NXT show that you guys were having was a great show. Great season. Great season.
Whoa, hold on. I'm glad you brought that up. Let the record state, these conversations were not had with me. Me and my tag team partner had an idea of floating our old show, but there was no conversation of, hey, guys, why don't you do a weekly post show? There was no mention of it to me.
Oh, like you not being co-mayors, like that never happened, right?
Yeah,
like that kind of
yeah.
like that.
And said never gave up his rights as mayor, right? He never,
right.
He never hung up the
None
Apple
of this
shirt.
ever happened.
Hold on.
Simon and Theodore,
go sit down. Ain't nobody talking to me, y'all.
Wow.
Is that why NXT
We're all
is on
the
that
same
intro
panel,
for say it?
Time out. We keep talking about me giving up my rights as mayor, but it was the people that didn't give up those rights. The people said, we will not put you down, mayor. So I said,
so where were you on January 6th, mayor?
Sorry?
That sounded real. January 6th, mayor. We're better than this.
Wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
This is too much.
Oh, did you put the screen on me?
Stand up for the commanders.
I think you need to answer that question.
Where were you?
What is this view? I'm not on trial. I'm not on trial. I am not on trial.
Said there was no.
What is this view? Bring everybody back.
I don't know what's happening right now. I really don't know what's happening right now.
I am not on trial. That's what we're not doing.
No, he still hadn't answered the question.
Oh boy.
All right. Well, I guess we're not going to be having Jacob and said NXT show until next year, maybe. So, said, where can everybody find you?
Ever.
You just got here. We've been here, dog.
You can
not too much on my tag team partner. All right.
Hey,
you take your frustrations with your co-mayor, not over here.
Hey, you get the smoke too, dog. We've been here. Y'all just got here. We the Usos. Y'all street profits.
Oh, y'all the one. Oh, you're saying you the ones. That's what he's saying.
Y'all street profits.
They think, guys.
You know, like
nobody wants to go down to y'all level. Sorry, no, it's okay.
It's okay, Midnight Express. Just keep doing the indie shows like y'all do.
Wow.
In the age of where y'all at. It's all good.
We're Midnight Express. I guess y'all are the rockers, huh?
Oh my God, what is happening? Sad, where can everybody find you?
This was never meant to be like this. I want you to understand. I didn't do that. This is his fault. It's his fault. You understand me? It's his fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. To hold thing together. Get up, Sammy! I wanted this. No, you didn't. I wanted this. No. But he betrayed me.
I love it.
I wanted this. You see? Same thing with the Exodus. I wanted this, but y'all keep pushing me, man.
Wow.
Pushing. We just want answers, man. We just want answers.
Anywho, you can find me in the Twitter streets at says at CEWD_SAYS. On the gram, it says the answer. Also, right for this platform. I occasionally vote here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on other post shows. Maybe I'll be here Tuesday night. Maybe tonight's the night you get Monday Night Mirror. I don't know. You got to keep showing
That's
up.
about to pound the streets.
See, this is why my time is getting limited now because it's stuff
You
like
just
that.
said there might be Monday Night Mayor.
You're lying.
I wouldn't say lying. I'm embellishing a little bit. It's not a lie.
Now that's spoken like a true mayor right there.
I'm gonna fight all these urges, my brother.
Spoken like somebody hanging out with Jericho.
Also, you can find me at John Moxley is the best Shield member.
Cosign.
End quote.
Wow.
Y'all are bugging.
I'm not feeling it.
One day, all these videos that I uploaded are just gonna be gone. Just letting y'all know. It's uploaded them all. It's gonna be gone one day.
It's okay that John Moxley is the fourth best Shield member. It's okay.
The fourth one? Wow.
Yeah, number 3 is Kurt Angle. Come on now. Number 3 is Kurt Angle.
Oh my gosh. Where can everybody find you?
Okay. All-Star Fandom Show, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. A few videos up this week. I'm usually here Mondays and Wednesdays, probably Fridays too, if I don't have another show popping up. But yeah, I'm here and I'm happy to be here. Well, I don't have a Friday show, Will. Come on, I don't have a Friday anymore.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the comments.
Oh, sorry. But yeah.
Oh, she got jokes.
Sorry, I'm off the rails here. All-Star Fandom Show everywhere. Go. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Will, where can everybody find you?
You can find me, and I don't know what to do with my hands because this place is crazy. You can find me on the Cindy was wild.
Okay.
Ooh. I'm sorry. Yeah, just find me there and find me Monday, Wednesday, Friday here, and on Tuesday for the NXT watch along.
Oh my gosh. Courtney, where can everybody find you?
They can actually find me on Twitter and Instagram on @CourtneyNJ11. They can also find me here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Wednesday, you don't want to miss the watch along for Dynamite because this is after Wrestle Dream, and there will be a lot to say with the aftermath, so don't miss it.
Oh, I mean, this one is kind of funny though. Honey, where can everybody find you?
Yeah. Everything Wrestling with Honey, the Wrestling with Honey podcast. They'll like and subscribe it. I'm here Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'll be in Wyatt Six City tonight. I need to go to Wyatt Six City. That's where I need to go. That's my safe space.
Yo, y'all got my head hurting. This shit was funny. Y'all got my head hurting.
Professor, did you say where everybody can find you? Because you be everywhere.
Yeah, you can find me at Bonafide across the social spaces. Let's see. You can check out my commentary work with a lot of people right now, which is kind of cool. We just had a great show with Southern Honor over the weekend, our 6-year anniversary. That'll be on IWTV very soon. You can also check out my work with IWE on there as well. All Caribbean Wrestling, of course, we will be there this weekend for Fight for Paradise. That should be fantastic. And you can actually check out some of the matches from Jam Slam when we were in Jamaica. That's available right now on the All Caribbean Wrestling YouTube page. So check that out. You can check out my work with Ashe Wrestling at AsheWrestling.com. And our latest show, Smile, Ashe is With You, is now available at AsheWrestling.com. So you can check out what I did there in terms of commentary. I was working with AC Mack and Caprice Coleman. Great show. So you guys will definitely want to check it out. I'd love to get your feedback on that. And yeah, you can check me out here Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I don't know if you guys noticed, there's someone who's not in the chat. I guess they won't.
I was just finna say it. Oh my God, Professor, I swear. I was just finna say, do not mess with the Professor because MDB 99 never came back. Never came back. Like right after he said, do not play with me, he stopped commenting.
He might be there. Maybe he's watching silently. If you are, I hope you have a great day.
What?
He stopped a long time ago.
And if y'all wonder where we get it from, if y'all wonder where all this come from, and y'all be like, oh, when the parents are here, they're gonna be good. No, just look.
No, I am really easy. I'm so easy. Y'all know that. But like, I don't understand why people do some of the things that they do. It just doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that?
Wow.
Dylan, I'll take Pyro.
Me.
Oh, would you look at? Oh, wait. Unfortunately.
What?
I didn't mean to click that. Did
Why
I
do
click
you
that?
rappers like that?
But that's what
I just
Professor
uploaded
did.
that. I didn't mean to click that.
That's what Professor been doing all day. This buff tag will.
Can I see that again?
Wait a second.
Oh my
And again,
God.
why do you punch rappers like that?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, would you look at? Oh, wait. Unfortunately.
Wow.
What's happening? What's
Oh
happening?
my goodness.
No.
All right. Well, we will. We're gonna let you
want to. Yep.
we'll let you guys get to watching Raw. You know, maybe said we'll have a Raw post show or after show or watch along. We'll see how it goes in the weeks to come. I don't know. Today might be the day, But thank you guys so much. Shout out to our unofficial official producer, Dylan. It's been a year since he's been in his duties, and also shout out to our information officer Bosa. He's been doing the do too. If you have a question, ask Bosa. So shout out to them. Shout out to everybody else in the chat for joining us and for making this a fun episode.
Unforgettable.
Special note. Nobody's Jeffrey Sindel. You be coming with the fire. I remember when you first came out, you was hella quiet. And every time I pop on, you and said going at it, and it's quite entertaining. So shout out to everybody.
I love beef.
Shout out to everybody in the
room
chat.
looking like heaven is hilarious. I can't unsee it.
That's so weird to me. I don't know what to say to that.
No, because if you back up, it looked like you right at the door of the pearly gates. That's why, as soon as you sat back, I was like, oh no.
Right outside the upper room.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
all right. Well, shout out to everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining. Definitely check out AEW happening in the Bahamas. Our shows are still going on. Our watch alongs are still going on. So definitely keep locked into all that. And also check out our website. We have a lot of articles dropping for that as well. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Ciao.
This episode of Women's Wrestling Talk has been brought to you by All Caribbean Wrestling. Catch the wave. Go to allcaribbeanwrestling.com to check out all the latest pay-per-views or go on the YouTube page at All Caribbean Wrestling. Also, go and check out their socials on Instagram at All Caribbean Wrestling and on X at All Caribbean WR1.
Hey, yo, you. Yeah, you that's watching this. You sitting on the couch staring at the screen not knowing what you want to do like this is an online college. Are you tired of wearing shirts that make you look like an extra stuck in catering? Do you want to step your wrestling swag game up to the next level? Then Women's Wrestling Talk has got you covered. Like literally. Are you for life in pink or black and white? Or maybe you're the EST and people need to respect you accordingly. Want to put some pride in your stride and show off the muscle in your hustle? Then make sure you check out the WWT store. Not now, but right now. Alright? What you waiting for? Head to www.talkpodstore.com and don't make me fight you. Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod.